Hey, it's George. I just want to say thank you for listening to this Trainer Spotlight episode. Let's not waste any time and get right into it. Coach, what's going on? Tell us a little bit about who you are.
My name is Megan Cooper, and I'm the owner and founder of Studio Me Fitness, a gym in Northeast Minneapolis, Minnesota. We specialize in helping people get out of pain and live an active and healthy lifestyle. We've been in business almost 11 years now and are currently expanding our 2,500 square foot brick and mortar space and adding on an additional 3,500 square feet. So I'm a trainer, a business owner. I wear all of the hats. I'm still on the floor managing people, facilities, everything you name it, I am still doing, and I truly love it. And I never really set out to own a business. Never really had any intentions of getting into being a personal trainer either. So I was in sports my whole life. I went to college. I played tennis in college. And once that was done, it was kind of like when I got into this. So I have a biology degree. I was pre-dental and got burnt out. And once all the sports in school was done, I was just really missing kind of that team atmosphere. I would go to the gym on my own and work out, but it just wasn't the same. And then I found this small studio and I always thought group fitness at that time was more like step aerobics and things like that. And so I just opened my eyes to other things. And I started teaching for them while I was working my full time job and just really fell in love with it. And then about 2 years into that, I got my personal training certification, group fitness certifications, and like everything else you can imagine. I've done a lot of learning and continue to learn. It's actually one of my core values and one of our studio core values as well. So being in sports and working in the corporate world, I was in a management role at the end before I left. When I first opened the gym in 2014, I was still working my full time job and did that for about 2 years before I finally quit and went all in on Studio Me, which was a really, really tough decision. It was hard. It was like, you're pulling out the safety net. I still had income from my full time job, but if I really wanted to make the gym work, I needed to go all in on it or give it up. And we decided to go all in. And it was difficult, challenging, it was fun, it was scary, all of the above.
It's great getting to know you as a coach, but you're not a coach 24/7. So, can you tell me a funny or interesting story about yourself that happened either in your practice as a coach or in your normal life outside of coaching?
So something funny about myself. So my husband and I used to road bike quite a bit. He always hated, so when we were on our own bikes, he always hated wondering where I was and turning around and looking just because he was a stronger biker than me. And we used to do big long rides, 150-mile bike rides together. And so we got a tandem. We tried it out and it actually worked really well for us. He could handle the gears, the braking, the steering, and all I had to do was pedal, which was perfect because I like biking, but it's not necessarily my thing. So we were doing this all day event in the city, and like we got the worst routes out of all the groups that were there. And we were going from, for those of you that know the area at all, from Minneapolis to St. Paul, back to Minneapolis to St. Paul, to Minneapolis and St. Paul, and we finished in St. Paul, and we had to get back to Minneapolis. So I was always known on the tandem as being the gas engine. I would get us up the hills because I'm more of a sprinter and my husband's more of the endurance athlete. So then I would back off once we got up the hill. So he'd call me the engine. And so a hill would be coming up and he'd be like, go time. And I'd kick it in high gear, get us to the top, and then I'd back off and he'd take over. So we just work really well on the tandem. But on the tandem, the way ours works is you have to keep moving together and keep pedaling. You can't stop. So we were riding at this event back to Minneapolis, back home, and it was dark and it's a long day. And if you don't know me, I can fall asleep just about anywhere. And it was dark. I was tired. We'd had a couple drinks also at the same time. And we were riding back and it was just a straight, boring path. It was a little chilly too in the night. And all of a sudden, I hear my husband yelling at me. So I had fallen asleep on our tandem and just my legs were still moving somehow and I was out. And so I woke up and we started pedaling and we got home. So if it just fits well with, I am like a light switch. I'm either on or off. I don't have a dimmer. So it's all or nothing. And if it's nothing, then I am likely sleeping.
What strategies do you use to attract and retain clients in your personal training business? I think we can all learn from each other here, and we'll probably find some answers to be quite similar to one another. But I'm really interested to hear what strategies and things you use to get new clients and keep the ones you currently have.
So we actually have a lot of poles in the water when it comes to trying to attract and retain clients, really more on the attract side. And it took us a long time to get there. It's not something that just happens overnight. We need to build the credibility, the brand recognition, and that's what's hard. I mean, it's funny, and I was just talking about this with my husband. It's like it feels like now after 10 years we finally have some traction and recognition in the market, and it's just so interesting to see the change, and then how much easier it is to get referrals. So we use referral marketing, which is huge, and this year has probably been the biggest year for us in terms of referrals, whereas in the past it's been really hard to get our members to bring friends in or family in. So that has been great networking, and with especially with local businesses, and then because I am a women owned business, we've been focusing on connecting with other women owned businesses in the area, which has also been great. We do a lot of workshops. So we have a physical therapist on staff as well. And so we do workshops with her. They're paid. We open them up. We do workshops just internally as well. And then we do some of the old school direct mail for new movers in the area. When a new member signs up, we blast about 10 people within a 1 mile radius of their house, and we send them 4 direct mail campaigns around that. We do can't just direct mail campaigns, so we'll be doing another one with the expansion here. We do them for our physical therapy to try to get the word out that we now have physical therapy. So we really have lots of different ways in which we're trying to get new clients on top of posting on social media and having a strategy around that. And then we just started diving into meta ads. And so that's been a whole nother beast, and getting lots of quality of leads, but not necessarily the quantity of leads. So then that gets into all of the nurturing and emails and nurture sequences that we have with that as well. So one of our core values in terms of retention, our goal for the entire year and actually each month is we're trying to keep our client churn down under 3%. So the industry is 6% average churn, and we want ours 3%. We have 187 members currently, and we've been able to do that successfully because one of our core values is a complete wow experience. And that starts before the client ever even comes in. So we are sending videos to potential leads or prospects before they come in. We're trying to get them on the phone. We're giving them a tour, like every little thing we're trying to wow them, right? To get them to be like, whoa, this is fantastic. I want to be here. I want to stay here. And so we have lots of personal touch points built in. We have a client experience manager who also helps with the coaches. So we have about 10 coaches on staff, and then our client experience manager helps with just reaching out to people and keeping them engaged. So it's not just the coach that's doing it. She helps with management of contract renewals. She helps with getting reviews. So that's a big focus of ours too.
Let's say you get a new client. What's your process for assessing their fitness level, addressing their goals, and other things they express as being important? We all have different methods and can learn a lot from each other. Let's open the door and share some of our secrets.
The way we assess our clients when they come in is we do an initial onboarding day with them. So after they've become a member, they've gotten their swag bag, they've had their tour, they've had everything already. We start by doing some reach out beforehand to make sure they're feeling comfortable coming into the gym for that assessment. What do they need to bring? What to expect? And we treat it as much like a workout as possible. We really focus on trying to get the client to start learning what our process is going to be like, right? So not only is it feeling like a workout for them, it's also mimicking our warm up process for all of our semi private and private clients. But we're getting an idea of how they move. So do we need to focus on some mobility or stability in certain areas? Where are they strong? Where can we have areas for improvement? And then once we take them through that movement, and I'm doing air quotes here, workout for that first day, so their assessment, then we decide what their linchpin is. So what do we need to work on the most? And we're also talking to them about goals. And with our goals, like, yes, we have movement based goals while they're in the gym, but we really focus on the 7 pillars of living your best life. And that's part of our me method that we call it here at Studio Me, on top of the way that we program. It's our philosophy, and that we can do all the right things in the gym, but if we're not doing some of the other lifestyle habits outside of that, it's going to be tough for them to get results. So we will set goals, and we do this quarterly with everybody as well. So when they start, and then every quarter we're having the conversation again, is which life of the 7 pillars, which one do we want to focus on? Whether it's move more, whether it's eat empowered, making sure we're getting enough sleep, staying hydrated, having more fun in our life. All of those things play into it. So there's 7 pillars that we focus on, and kind of helping clients set some goals. And so we're truly coaching them versus just training and leading them through a session.
I'm a huge fan of continuing education, and I'm building Fitlete to give trainers more efficient access to education that solves their clients' problems. We all look at problem solving differently, and taking different courses, obtaining certifications, and going to new conferences can help us learn from one another. How do you continually develop your skill set as a trainer?
So for me, this has really changed over the last probably 3 years in really becoming an owner versus a coach or a trainer. But when I first started, right, basic certification, personal training certification, group fitness certification, and then I got into some of the specialty things. Like I wanted to know the ins and outs of how to use kettlebells, how to use barbells, and how to be effective and teach that form, how to use the TRX, the rowing machine, some metabolic conditioning certifications. We've done a lot with PPSC, pain free performance training. We've done programming certifications. And now, when I'm looking at training and learning, it's a lot more focused on business for me, and which is more on the sales and marketing stuff. So I would rather spend my money because I'm not training as much on the floor as my staff is on them. So it's helping them expand their knowledge and what's going to help make them a better coach. Lately, we've been focusing on some more coaching things and EQ and how to read your clients to be able to communicate with them better, and just cognitive behavioral therapy trainings. So many trainings out there, right? And so it's just how do we continue to serve our clients best based on what our overall mission is, which is helping clients move pain free and live their best and most active life. So, one of our core values with the studio in mind is lifelong learning. And that's really important because as soon as we stop learning, we do our clients a disservice. And also, we're not challenging ourselves, and that's just not fun. So, we don't stop learning. We have been, like I said, spending lots of time in figuring out what do we need to elevate our team, and how do we do that? Are there local trainings we can do, or do we need to bring somebody in? And it's just figuring that out based on where we are. We have to be careful not to chase shiny objects or trainings out there or jump to the new fads, right? Like we really want it to be things that are going to add value to our clients and increase our average client spend with us. And I know I'd mentioned for me in terms of just staying up to date on things, right? I'm in a mastermind group. So we meet there. I'm doing trainings and learnings on just money management, finance, budgeting. I'm marketing and sales. Those are areas that I tend to not be my strongest. So I'm continuing to learn in that area, and then also leadership. So I feel that as a gym, we're only going to grow to my level of competence, and then we're going to get stuck. So I continue to learn for myself so we can continue to grow as a gym, and focusing on those areas then that I am not my strongest at.
The fitness industry is rapidly evolving before our eyes. How do you envision your personal training business evolving with it in the next few years? I'm really excited to hear what you have to say about this because we have to plan for the future and a future we want for our business. And while all of our businesses might have the same basic goal of helping people with their fitness, we can structure them in very different ways from one another.
So this is a really interesting question, and I think I don't know that I have an answer for it. So we've already changed so much since we opened back in 2014. We were primarily a group fitness studio, but a small group fitness studio. So no more than 10 people in a class. I wanted to provide more coaching than what the group fitness scene allowed for and I wasn't used to. So we struggled because of that in terms of like we wanted to be checking in with them in group fitness. That's not what people want, right? They want to come in and go home, take class, go home, but then they get frustrated that they aren't getting results. Well, it's like we saw you once this week and then we didn't see you for 2 weeks and we saw you 4 days. So we tried to create some of that consistency with the scheduling, and that's how a little bit of how we are different. So we've already, during COVID, then what happened was we weren't able to get the group back in our space. So we really had to sit down and think about how do we best serve our clients and what is the best way for us to move forward as a business. And we changed our programs around. And with most of our clients now in our semi-private training, which is a 5-to-1 model, and they're all getting a more personalized training experience, focusing on strength training and based on where they're at. So they're not all doing that same workout. So, but they're going to be pretty independent. But we still have our group, right? People love that. And it's a feeder into our other programs. We have a nice little ecosystem with our group training, our semi-private training, and our personal training. And I think it's what's hard for other gyms is they have one program, right? And I'm not saying that having three programs is the answer either, because it's very difficult to manage. We don't just have one thing that we sell. We have to be really good to great at all three programs. So, but I do know that people are wanting that personal connection. They're tired of the group fitness scene, and the group fitness scene is kind of dying, right? So it's hard. It's a many to a one numbers count, and it's hard to make that work. We knew we were always trying to partner with a physical therapist and just struggled to make that partnership. And about a year and a half ago, we actually just hired a physical therapist on staff, and that has been amazing for us. And so I want to continue to develop that and think of Studio Me as a gym that is not just fitness, and really trying to figure out how we can expand that into wellness and what that looks like. So for us, I think it's going to be continuing to develop that. Do we add another physical therapist? Do we add another care service like chiropractic, massage therapy, functional medicine doctor, all the things that we've been in conversations and talking about, as long as it continues to align with our core values and our mission, and how do we help our clients. So it's hard to say. There's a lot of uncertain economic coming, I don't want to say challenges coming up in the future here too. And so that can always change our direction and put pause or make us push the gas pedal on things. And with being small, and we're open to do that and able to do that. And that's how we've survived COVID to this point, and we'll keep going.
I know challenges are all over the place in the fitness industry and personal training. Information is available in different formats. Clients are more easily misled by gurus and charlatans. Social media's influence is becoming more and more ingrained in people's lives. And now we have AI. What do you think are some of the biggest challenges currently facing the fitness and personal training industry?
I think some of the biggest challenges is that people want a quick fix, right? And then with these GLP-1 drugs out there, it's been given to some people, and that makes it challenging. Because why do I have to work out if I can take this magic pill and get the results that I'm looking for without realizing the side effects that come with that? So that's one of them. There's a lot of fitness influencers all over the place, and it's for clients are that aren't necessarily educated in fitness, and nor should they be, right? That's why they hire us. That they see this and they see these people doing sometimes stupid stuff, and they're like, I want to do that. Why am I not doing that in here? Or this is the way I should be training because this person says that. And I think that that's also a challenge too. And overall, with some of the tariffs and stuff that are coming out, is just going to make the cost of business more expensive, and it makes owning a brick and mortar space tough. And to be honest, there's a lot of people getting their certifications and becoming trainers that have no business doing it, and they don't have the experience. And which is part of the reason on why we started our 8-week mentorship program. So for those who are interested in becoming certified or wanting to become a trainer or have it but don't have the experience and they're not getting hired places, we teach them how to be a coach. So we teach them everything that we've learned in the past 10, 15 years, and we share it with them to help them be a coach, whether they stay with us or they go somewhere else. So I think there's just a lack of maybe education, and that everyone thinks that they can just step into it and be really good at it. And some of them absolutely can, right? But then there's others that's like, oh, and then you hear experiences from clients coming into, and you're like, I'm sorry you had that experience. This is what it's like at Studio Me. For brick and mortars, I think that the scene can be tough is getting into it. I wouldn't want to be starting right now with a brick and mortar space. I mean, we're expanding right now, but that's different. We have brand, we have credibility, and it takes time to build that. And most businesses, gyms specifically, fail within the first year, and it's hard. It's a grind. It's always a grind. And so figuring out how you can do it and be successful and manage your cash flow, because that's the biggest piece of it, is if you can't manage that, you're never going to stay in business. We've got to be able to continue to attract clients, and it's hard on social media and with everything that's out there, and focusing on referrals. I mean, it'd be great if I didn't have to spend any money to advertise and not just our clients were telling people, but people are also starting to tighten their wallets because of the economic uncertainty and the state of the world. So there's just a lot of uncertainty coming, and I think that that's a huge piece of it.
Megan, thank you so much for coming on and sharing some really great info about yourself. Megan and I met at the 2022 Raise the Bar conference. I went to this conference paying for the VIP because I had actually never done that before and thought, why not try, see how it goes? And I was in a major transition point in my career, and I hoped that I would meet someone who paid for the VIP pass also, or I'd be able to talk with one of the presenters a little bit more closely at the VIP dinner, who'd be able to talk me through some of the stuff I was thinking about going through, and help me make some decisions going forward. I met Megan because we sat close to one another, and it's as simple as that. But we started talking, and uh, I noticed some similarities. And when she hit me with something like that, I think you've already made up your mind here and you should just pull the trigger response, it really stung, but in all the ways that it was meant to. And when I look back at how I thought about the process after going through that event, it was one of the things that stuck with me, along with some other key aspects of talking with her about being an owner, opening up her own facility, and making some uncomfortable leaps towards her future that I kind of made some similarities to with mine. So thank you very much, Megan. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you got to know Megan a little bit more through this episode. Check out some of the show notes to see how to connect with her best. And that's all for this episode. If you want to learn more about Fitlete and possibly get your own episode, please visit fitlete.com. That's FITLETE.com. Thanks. I'll talk to you soon.